Working Class Beer Reviews is looking at Colt 45. Yes, Colt 45. It doesn't get much more working class than this. So before we talk about it, let's open it up. Got my church key. It's a Falstaff church key. This one I use pretty much I keep inside the house. I've got a few others. I've got this Coors glass. Colt 45 is not associated with Coors really at all. It's actually, Colt 45 is a Pabst Blue Ribbon PBR brand, which does not brew their own beers. Everything's contract brewed through Miller and probably other breweries. So we're going to pour this in here. I just thought this was a neat glass. It'd be good enough for this. This is a lager, American adjunct lager. So let's see what the online has to say about this. As an American brand of lager or malt liquor, which is actually just a government name for strong beer. There was a time where you couldn't talk about beer's strength. And primarily marketed in the United States and originally introduced by National Brewing Company in the spring of 1963. So, but through a series of mergers and acquisitions, the National Brewing Company and its brands, including Colt 45, are today owned by Pabst Brewing Company. You can find this in all sorts of configurations, 12-ounce cans. This is a 16-ounce can. I think I bought a 4-pack of this up in Kansas City for around $4.99, which is okay. I don't find this very regularly in my town, except for in 40-ounce bottles or 42-ounce bottles. No, it's the glass, so it's 40-ounce glass bottles. I can still get those around here, but typically not these or anything smaller. No 12 packs, no 12-ounce cans or bottles. Some people may find them in 18-ounce bottles. But so here's some of the history. Previously, the only major national brand of malt liquor was Country Club, and this label was designed with a kicking horse or a horseshoe, a reference to its extra kick compared to competing brands. Fun fact: Colt 45 was on the website, Pabst website. I think there's a lawsuit about Colt 45 as far as the caliber weapon, and they're like, oh no, it's actually about the Indianapolis or maybe even Baltimore Colts back then. Number 45 was a running back named Jerry Hill, and I think that was just a way of getting out of that claim, that charge. So malt liquor in itself was originally supposed to target the upper middle class demographic, and it just didn't pan out that way. That's what Country Club was trying to cater towards. Even Schlitz malt liquor, the original advertisements showed it like in a rocks glass with a lemon or an orange wedge, try to almost make it seem like a cocktail. But in case studies showed that it was actually far more popular in disenfranchised urban areas. So it appealed to a much different demographic, probably because the prices became cheaper, and because it's a stronger beer, you're getting more bang for your buck. This is 5.6% ABV, and yeah, this is advertised during the 70s and 80s with Billy D. Williams. Colt 45 works every time, and if you're a kid of the 90s and early 2000s, you probably remember the Afro Man song, Colt 45 and 2 Zigzags. So yeah, it's well known. Not always highly regarded, but people who like it really like it. And I tend to actually really enjoy this. I've had this before. So what do we get? It's very humid out here in early August. It's in the 80s, but the humidity's super high. It's been raining a lot lately. Lots and lots of bubbles. Good head sticking around. Very clear. Glass is sweaty, but very clear. Highly filtered. More than likely corn adjunct, if I had to guess, especially if it's brewed by Miller. That's their choice. More than like corn syrup, not even grits. So very clear, much like you would a normal lager. Let's get a smell. Yeah, just grainy. Don't really smell any sort of hoppy bitterness or anything like that. You're not going to. This is going to be pretty straightforward. Just a little bit stronger than average. 5% I consider average. Anywhere from 4.5% to 5%. This is 5.6, so it's a little bit above average. About like Bud Ice is 5.5. Your other ice beers are going to be 5.9. This is not an ice beer. I think they may make a ice Colt 45 ice, or they did. I know they make a double malt, and then they make a high gravity version, which those I hardly ever see. So I'll probably have to travel around to come across those. So let's give it a sip. It's nice and cold, and that's refreshing on a hot, sweaty day like this. Can't go wrong with that. Grainy, you get that kind of grainy mouthfeel. It's not the cleanest beer. You know, it's got a longer finish on it, so it's not a dry finish. It's a sweeter finish, so it's definitely not a dry beer. You're not supposed to really taste corn, but you can tell that it's not like a all malt lager or anything like that. So you can taste there's an adjunct in there somewhere just by the flavor profile. I think in a setting like this is pretty balanced. If you were to buy a 40 ounce, obviously with a 40 ounce you get the screw cap on it, so if you don't drink it all and you want to put some back in the fridge, you can. The way it's showcased through music videos and movies and stuff like that, you'll see it in a brown paper bag and people are just drinking it, just, you know, some people call them party bottles, the 40 ounces, and you might see homeless people drinking it. You see, you know, they stereotypically show it like gangsters and stuff like that drinking it. There's a movie, I forgot which one it was, where a guy shows up like in a hearse at a stoplight, and there's these guys in a lowrider, and they see him in a hearse, and they both have their 40s, and they dump it out like pour one out for your homies type thing. So that could have, but it did, I don't know if it clearly stated what they were drinking. There's all sorts of famous malt liquors, although they've kind of been condensed down. You've got your Colt 45, Schlitz. I don't know if St. Ides is still around. If it is, it's not around here. I don't even know if King Cobra's around. You got Hurricane, Steel Reserve, and those are, well, you can get 6% versions of those. A lot of those are high gravity though, like 8%. Like I said, they do make a high gravity version of this, but it's just not around here. Just so we just get the standard Colt 45. It says rich smoothness for every occasion. Colt 45 original always remains true. The classic American lager since 1963. Every time. So I don't know what the IBUs on this are. Pretty low. They're probably 10 or less if I had to guess. Even with the extra strength, you can't tell. Even with when you sip through the head, you can't. Yeah, can't really tell any bitterness there. It's not windy today, thank goodness. So I'm not worried about my tripod blowing over and the wind noise. The sun's starting to come out, which is like baking me right now. I got my cool Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Anybody remember that album from 1994, 1995, somewhere in there? I was transitioning from 8th grade to freshman high school when that album came out. My brother went to the concert at Sandstone in Kansas City the summer of '95, and he bought a shirt that looked very similar. It was blue. It was a concert shirt, and I begged him to wear it to my freshman year, because I wanted to act like I went to the concert, even though I didn't. I just wanted to look cool, and I was like, it was like way too big for me. I felt like I was swimming in it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to look cool. But yeah, so I saw this and I had to buy it. We got this at Target. It was cheap. It was like 20 bucks or less, like somewhere around 15, 20 bucks for the graphic tee. So I had to have it. But yeah, so do I recommend this? Yeah, I think you should try it at least. It may not be for everybody. If you're a light beer drinker, you might think it's a little strong. It's got flavor. It's got character for sure. But it's not overly powerful. You know, like I said, 5.6 is just a little over baseline. I mean, it is a lager, so you might be careful. You know, if you have a few in succession, I would definitely consider pacing yourself and just use moderation. Moderation is key. Always. That's what I would say. I never want to condone overindulgence. I think that that's not the point of this. You're meant to enjoy it, not to create an effect. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, if I could get it more regularly and in my area at a decent price, I would buy it. I've seen 12 packs of 12-ounce cans before, but they were like 12 bucks. And I'm not going to pay $1 a beer for a 12-ounce can when I know I can get pint cans of other brands much more affordably. So, anyway, if you guys have ever had Colt 45 in your history, let me know your experience. You know, how did you have it? Was it in cans? Was it in bottles? Was it 40 ounce? I doubt you're going to find this on draft. You know, if you live, I bet if you live close to a Miller brewery where they brew this, it's possible you could order a keg, maybe special order a keg, but I couldn't say how much it was going to cost. But it's kind of a neat little novelty because of its presence in pop culture. I think when people see it, they always want to crack a joke about it. But I guarantee you 50% of the people probably haven't even tried it. You know, I think the time of this being super popular and a lot more widely consumed is kind of come and gone. So therefore, it's become more of a niche thing in most areas. So I think that when people buy a 40 ounce, they're just trying to be funny. Because, you know, there's so many different, you know, Mickey's is another one. That's, I think Miller actually got that from Pabst during the merger. And you can get Mickey's in 40 ounce and in 12 ounce bottles and cans. And I think you can get them in 16 ounce cans too. I see them in bottles around here and the 40 ouncers from time to time. So that's another one that's probably, if you like Mickey's, then you'll probably like Colt 45. It's pretty good stuff. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching this. And let me know in the comments anything you have to say about Colt 45 or what you do or don't like about it. I'd love to hear from you. And I will see you guys later.